Alright, in this video I want to talk about why I shaved my head and why I kept it shaved for almost 4 years now, and why, if you're someone who's going through hair loss, that's probably the best idea. Not to invest in whatever regrowth or keeping products that are out there, not to travel overseas and spend a bunch of money on a transplant for hair, to just shave it off, move on. So, for me, it all began in 2018, I think, is when something was first pointed out. So, right around when I was 21, I was filming a video for this other YouTube channel I did with some other guys that is long gone, the channel that is. And one of them pointed out that under the light you could see bald spots, mostly when my hair was stood up and under the intense light of a light bulb you could make something out of it. I didn't really think too much about it that back then. It wasn't until about a year and a half later, when I graduated college, that I started using clippers with the longest guard possible to trim my hair, to go with a shorter style. See, I hadn't been to a barber shop or a barber since about February of 2014. See, at the tail end of high school, I actually grew out my hair to past my shoulders. Then freshman year of college, I cut it shorter myself, and then I did that ever since. And then 2018 at 21, well, this was like right before my 21st birthday. One of the guys I was working with pointed that out, and then I started to notice it a little bit, but I held on to it for the next 3 years. I gradually started using shorter clipper guards after college until May of 2021. I decided to just go for it. So I started with a number 3 guard, and then afterwards I just went guardless, and then I did the shaving cream and the razor thing. And at first my mom was like, "Whoa!" But after that, no one else really made a big deal out of it. So if you're on the fence about it and worried about that, spoiler alert, it might happen a couple of times at first, but after that it'll just fade into the background. So yeah, if you're on the fence about it, start with going gradually shorter, and then see from there. That's what I did. There's the whole Norwood Reaper numbering to decide how over it is for you, or how far gone you are, I guess. I actually didn't know about that until 2 to 3 years after about 2 years after my initial shave. The reason I ultimately went with it was because I was doing another type of YouTube content at the time. This was when I was more into making vlogs with more heavily edited transitions and cuts and such. And I was just having a hard time looking at myself because I could see the bald spots underneath the hair under sunlight, any direct light, really. So yeah, I'd watch a clip of myself talking in the driver's seat of my car. This was back when I drove while I was eating an ice cream, and I'd see the shine of my scalp underneath the thinning layer of hair. Now, I could have just kept on letting it get to me. I could have been like, "Oh, I'm still young. I can work with this," or "I'm too young to be bald." Well, at a certain point, you just have to accept that it is what it is. Now, if you want to use money to on products to keep it as long as possible, that is your choice, and I respect your decision, even if it's not what I would personally do. I actually had ChatGPT run the numbers, and shaving one's head is objectively cheaper in the long run than going to the barber shop monthly, especially if you're going with a shorter style you could just do yourself with a pair of clippers and certain guards. So I guess now's a good time to say what the different ways are you can go about it if you want to go for it. First off, you can just do what I did and do it all yourself. Grab a pair of clippers you happen to find or happen to have anyway. Buy a new pair if you need it, or I don't know, borrow a friend's pair. Just get something to trim it all down, to buzz it all off. And then either get something like what I use now is a Freebird rotary shaver. That's what I prefer because I don't have to go through the process of covering my head with a damp towel or running it under hot water. Use either that or shaving cream in a 5 blade razor to shave it completely away to get that even look like what I have. Now you can also go to a barber and have them do it to get the initial shave done. If you don't want to invest in a pair of clippers that you're only going to use once to buzz it all off, or if you don't already have one. Or you can make it the farewell to your barber if you've been going and decide, you know what, it's over for or my hair. or you can completely ghost them and find someone else to do it, or you can have a friend do it for free. I mean, they might not be as professional, but it won't cost you anything. You might not have to buy a new pair of clippers or anything. The long-term goal from there is to do it independently, be able to do it yourself. Again, what I would do is I would buy a rotary shaver like the Skull Shaver, or the Freebird is a much better value, and that's what I use. And then just buy a replacement rotary blade every, doesn't necessarily have to be every month. The one I started using in mid-December, I'm recording this at the end of January, is actually still working good enough. I think it's supposed to be changed out once a month, but you can make it last a little longer if you do it every other day. And maybe skip a day if you like forget once and then be like, oh, I'll just push it off. What I've really got to do better on is start trimming my beard again. I guess why I'm more motivated to stay consistent on the head shaving routine is because I don't want to look at the patchy growth. I really don't. I just prefer the evenness of the look, and that's what matters. Yeah, don't worry too much about what women say about not finding bald men attractive, or any that that particularly find bald men attractive. Just go for it and do what works for you if you're losing your hair. Again, if you want to invest in the maintenance product or a hair transplant for a full regrowth, which insurance won't cover, by the way, because it's superficial. But if you want to spend that money, that's your choice, and I respect your decision, even if I don't personally agree with it and if it's not what I would do. I won't say, hey, that it's a magic bullet that will instantly solve all your problems, but for me, it gave me closure and it gave me a more even look, so I don't have to be like, oh no, this is the that's where it's gone, that's where it's gone, it's still coming out there. So yeah, don't worry about societal expectations for men to have hair. Okay, there's a little more leniency for men to shave their heads compared to women, but that's an entirely different discussion. The whole being bald as a man versus being bald as a woman. I can tell you right now, being bald as a man isn't as big a deal to other people. In fact, some would say that nobody cares what a man's hair is like. But hey, at the very least, you don't have to deal with spending money at the barber. You don't have to spend as much time styling it. Just run the rotary shaver or the 5 blade razor over it every other day, and you're good to go. Now, maybe you'd want to get some moisturizer, or you might still need some level of shampoo if you have a beard like mine. Then, what I do on days when I know I'm leaving the house, I'll admit I use some of the remaining shampoo from what I use on my beard and then run it over my scalp. But that's just to clean it out, so you can probably make it last a lot longer all the same. Of course, I'm siphoning off the bulk supplies that my parents buy, so it's different for me. If you're living on your own and buying your own things like that, maybe if you shave your head, you don't have to worry about that. But that's all at your discretion. So, on that note, I am going to leave it here for the video. Comment down below whether you're thinking about shaving your head, whether you've already done it. Man or woman, I'd like to hear your perspective on that. Maybe I'll do a video in the future about being being bald as a man versus being bald as a woman. Give this video a like, subscribe for daily videos. I'll see you soon.